We'll talk about the markets in just about a minute, but of course, we'll keep looking for what is making news. Of course, Bloomberg is just reporting, and this is good news for Nigeria. What you call the outsourcing startup company, Andela Nigeria, which is headquartered in Nigeria but operating in a few other African countries, have secured a $100 million investment deal with the investment firm of former U.S. Vice President Al Gore. That's been reported right now. So that will bring Andela Nigeria's startup money to the north of $180 million US. U.S. former Vice President Al Gore's investment firm says he's putting $100 million investment in Andela Nigeria, which is a company that does outsourcing and help develop softwares for companies, including banks and all of that. That's one big news for Nigeria's startup sector. $100 million from the U.S. Vice President Al Gore's investment firm, Core Generation Investments. Let's talk about the marketplace. The stock market is what we'll talk about a bit later, but let's take the morning after the MPC decisions first in 2019 to the FMDQ exchange place in downtown Lagos, where Chima Udu, who is a fixed income dealer at GT Bank, is joining us this morning. Chima, this was an MPC for your market, yes or no?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Good morning, Watson.
It's good to see you. So, what's the morning after looking like after those decisions?
I mean, what we heard from the MPC was expected. So today we just got into the market. On the T-bill curve, we've seen a mixed market with a bullish bias. We see the bulls as a result of the maturity we have coming in tomorrow. 380 billion is coming in from the UMU maturities tomorrow, and then the expectation of FAC. We've seen the moderation. We've seen moderation of yields on the short end of the T-bill curve from 14.5% to about 13.5% this morning.
Oh, great. So, how will it look like moving forward? This is the first MPC, and I'm sure you debt dealers and traders will look beyond this MPC as to what will play out, at least within the first quarter until after the elections. Now we have the thinking of the monetary policy as where they want things to go, at least before the next MPC, which will be sometime in April.
I'll take your attention to the long end of the curve, talking to the bond space. We still expect the calendar for their borrowings to come out. We hope that will come out by the end of the week. And then so we still expect support for FX from the central bank, and we still expect some interest from the FPIs and FDI in the market, as we have seen last week, where we saw a lot of inflows coming to market, causing the moderation in FX rates from about 365 to about 362, 361 levels, where we're trading now.
Okay, so with so much volume of money coming through the mature treasuries tomorrow, what do you think the central bank will do? Of course, bringing them up, isn't it?
Yes, we expect that they would come in with an OMO auction, try to mop up as they maintain their tight liquidity stance. We also expect that people will try to reinvest themselves the maturities they have at this high yields we have at 15%, 17% on the yield on the T-bill curve.
So is the cost clear now for investors who are looking at 2019, perhaps waiting for the central bank to give some kind of guidance and direction for the year? What else would they be looking out for? Or do you think investors in the debt market will be looking out for? Would that be the budget? What else would be on their outlook before they deep dive into your market?
I mean, the outlook they were looking for is some form of guidance to what the political election is going, the outcome of the elections. But so far, so good. It's been peaceful, and we have seen an interest from FDI, especially last week when we saw an influx of participation in the T-bill and in the FX market. So I think for them, they've gotten all the indications they need now. We've seen activity also in the equities market, as we saw the FPIs coming to participate in that space as well.
So technically speaking, Chairman, to wrap this up, you think the fear factor by foreign portfolio investors is beginning to fade out, and at least some certainty is there that, yes, politicians will talk at each other and talk to each other, but again, the elections will go on and there will be a transition peaceful?
I think the fear factor has been moderated to an extent, hence the interest we've seen across the markets in the financial institutions.
Great news, great news. I love that. I love that confidence story. Thank you very much. All everybody stay calm. Fear factor out of the window. Thank you very much. Chema, would have the best of the rest of your Wednesday. Fixed income dealer at GT Bank, live to us from FMDQ Exchange Place. Let's go to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Of course, yesterday was a bit of a soft landing for the market, trying to read what the monetary policy would do. Last-minute deal in Zenith Bank and GT Bank gave us that soft landing, even though the market started a bit on a negative note. But of course, this is the morning after. We're trying to get the early numbers, as it were, from Temple Ashaju, who is having a permanent eye on the market for us from the Nigerian Stock Exchange trading floor. Temple, take it from here. That's your stock exchange. This is the morning after MPC.
Great, this is the morning after MPC. We're yet to see a lot of traders coming back into the markets to put more money on ground or to take more money off the market. But we've seen that there's a bit of marginal gains so far in the markets, with up some 0.04 to 0.06%. That's where the fluctuation has been. We've seen some 2.7 million units of shares done so far, and that's around some 23 to 25 million naira. Axis Bank, which of course, was part of the gains yesterday, gainers yesterday, is up 1.7%. Linkage Assurance and the financial services has the highest gain so far, up some 4.4%. And of course, UBA, some 0.69%, just joined the bandwagon of gainers now. So we're seeing more interest in the financial services, the banking name specifically. And of course, that looks like it will continue for the rest of this day before the market closes at 2 p.m. Bosun.
Yes. One of the things that we'll be looking at for Tempo is the new two indices floated by Afrinvest in partnership with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the banking index and the high dividend yield. I'm sure this will be something that traders and everyone will be looking at, how these new indices will play out.
I think traders and dealers here are still trying to understand how that indices will work, and before they can then give their position on it. But I'm very certain that it is something that a lot of the players in the market will continue to watch. It is a good reading for the market, and it is something that will help to measure their performances, the performance of the sectors that could be found under this sector going forward, Bosun.
Yeah, but what are everybody else talking about? Now that we've got MPC out, do you think traders will be talking more about everybody's now back to their political desk, as it were, or talk about politics, just as elections? We're getting
people are traders. So traders are watching the numbers. They are seeing how the interest of offshore investors, as the guest from FMDQ talked about earlier, are now back in the market. The fear factor has now seemed to have moderated, and that gives room for a lot of the traders here, investors, retail, domestic, corporates, the big and the small, to key into the market at this time to see how they can, of course, a whole lot of these players will be looking at speculative demands in the markets, to see how they can then take profits to take advantage of the offshore investments that are now coming back into the market. The FPI is coming in. So that's what we're saying across board. You know that before now, the banking sector has seen, the banking names generally have seen so much of sell pressure in recent time. But since yesterday, we've been seeing more interest in the banking names. A whole lot of them, like Guarantee Trust Bank, Zenith Bank, all are currently on the gainers chart, even though we know that the gains are currently marginal. So that's an area that investors are looking at. And of course, a few of the insurance names like NEM Insurance and Sovereign Trust, which are companies that have activities around them at this point in time, Bosun.
Okay, Tempo Ashaju, thank you very much. Live to us from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Of course, to wrap up the program, we told you just a bit earlier, Bloomberg is reporting that the investment firm of a former U.S. Vice President Al Gore is leading $100 million investment in Nigeria's Andela. It's called Andela Nigeria. It's an outsourcing company that develops softwares for banks operating not just in Nigeria, but a number of African countries. This is one big news coming to the Nigerian news space this morning, and that will bring Andela Nigeria's a fund from outside to the north of $180 million US. That's the Generation Investment Management fund belonging to the former US Vice President Al Gore. So they're putting $100 million into Nigeria's Andela, which is a startup tech company. Their headquarters is based here in Lagos, my city, your city. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you next time. This is your Business Morning. Have a great day.
When?